Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today is that glorious time of year where it's springtime and it's time to take all the trees out of the garage, out of dormancy, and get them set up on the deck. So you see the ones that are still out here, they're pines and some hardier trees, some junipers, Thuja occidentalis, and then my dead pomegranate that had such a perfect canopy and planting that I still leave it front and center. So I had to get this recycled from Stella's front porch because we didn't use it last year, and one of my long terracotta pots exploded, one like that. So we're gonna get a little pine forest put in there and get the trees out and in order. I'll show you where they've been hanging out for the winter, and that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Right, so the paddle boards and the trees are gonna be coming out today. Yes, the garage is a disaster because there's just so much kid stuff. It's ridiculous. Just vehicles, sleds. Anyways, this is where they've been hanging out. I kept them over this winter with the ones that are more desirable for rodents, wrapped in some nice steel wool. You can get in, like, I don't know, it comes in a rollout sheet on Amazon. And I huddled them all together. This is the pine forest that lost its pot. So since I see my cherry is starting to bud out, I figure it's time to get the trees outside, get all this steel wool off of them. I also put some kid and pet safe, like, I don't know, those chunks of rodent killer around the outside. So I don't see that. It must have melted over the winter or it got eaten. But either way, it looks like the trees are in good shape. So even though they look like there's a very small amount here when they're condensed, it expands across the entire deck. So let's get to it. All right, so it looks like the plastic pot's a little bigger than the pot this was in. And there's really no organization to this planting. I just had a ton of pines grown from seed. They're maybe 7 years old now. And so I put a bunch in groupings because it makes it a lot easier moving them around and watering and making room for them. So if you're just starting bonsai and you're starting from seed, you might want to keep that in mind because the pines stay about this big for 3 years and then they take off. So definitely something I didn't plan for when I started this, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. So I have some recycled soil from some seedlings, tomato seedlings, and it's looking like a nice little base. I'll put this in the bottom of there, pop this in there, and then kind of fill in the sides. So I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. All right, so we got it repotted up. Probably going to tend to the masses of moss that kind of grew up around the trunks last year. Actually, it's not that bad. They must have popped off. Yep, they did. Yep. There was a lot more moss in this planting, but when the pot exploded, I'm guessing some of those fell out, and I just didn't care enough to replace them yet. So anyways, no real design to this other than some spacing and a general plan for the future. Now, next stop, I gotta get this water table of Stella's out of the way. And then somebody might have knocked over a bonsai shelf this winter. Maybe the mutts, maybe the wind and weather, or probably Stella. But I'm enjoying the way my evergreen corner is looking. Nice white pine. I'm gonna have to take the wire off of that. All right, you guys are just a part of my checklist for springtime. Stand by. We may have lost this Thuja this winter. I did just leave it right there, and it was really friggin' cold, but I thought since it was old and pretty deep pot, meh. Well, we'll leave it. Hopefully it kicks off some new growth, and I don't know, does something new. All right, so speaking of the weeping Japanese cherry, or Japanese weeping cherry, budding out nicely, that's cool. This one is only a few years old, got it when Stella was born, and she's gonna be 4, so 4 this summer. So normally I would take out that strong vertical growth, but since it's such a twig, I think I'm going to just let it grow. What do you think? All right, the Japanese maples, huge forest, and then one I thinned last year. I pulled out a bunch for individual plantings, or like plantings of 3, and I left all the ones that were growing slow. They're already budding out, so success. After repotting almost every tree I have last year, a lot more success than that. All right, so wifey's home, but the kids are being very antisocial. JJ being asleep and Stella just being a 3-nager. So we got that set up there. Y'all probably know almost 17-year-old Bruce Lee. So I got a future Japanese maple here. As a partner over here, future topiaries in front of the front hatch. But for now, they're just babies. All right. So no real organization yet. Usually I will get crazy OCD and have perfect balance between like the pot side to side and all that. But I feel like my analness and OCD goes away with each child's year. So anyways, got a trident maple a few years back. Got really girdled by a rodent, but still alive. A lot of them died. Some Japanese maples, ones that I separated. A little weeping juniper. The viburnum, which kicks off like huge white flowers. Not for me yet, but it supposedly does. We'll see this year, hopefully. A little Japanese alcova clump. And that's a clump out of one root structure, so that thing's pretty cool. It did it all on its own, and I just let it happen. And yeah, it looks like a bunch of sticks in the pot right now. Black locusts, a blueberry. I'm confident all these are coming back. And not a plane tree, not a sequoia, a sycamore, American sycamore here. One of 6 Laura had gotten me, bare rooted. Hopefully that one comes back. You know, you lose a lot of trees, well at least I do. We have this awesome white pine Yamadori. Some Colorado blue spruce. And 90% of these are from seed, y'all. So Japanese black pine. So yes, been doing it 7 years, but I did not buy any old trees. So my trees are still very much in beginning developments, but I'm cool with that. Especially right now, I don't have much time other than to water them with the kids and having to work to pay for the kids. So that's it. Stella not playing with her water table, even though I cleaned it out for her. So anyways, it's been a while since I posted a video, y'all. Just catching y'all up, that's it. Busy with work, the kids, and now we got the trees outside. So hopefully y'all survive winter. Looking forward to spring like I am, and I will try my best to keep you up to date with some videos. So I'm Jared Paul, and from my family to yours, cheers.